Hello students, I'm Madam Joyce from Educare TZ. I'm teaching biology and today I'll be with you, my lovely student, to discuss the topic that is cytology, whereby we are going to deal with our subtopic, which is the biochemistry. So my student, in our subtopic, which is the biochemistry, we are discussing on the organic constituents which are found within the cell, and whereby we have already seen about the carbohydrate, the lipids, and in the previous session we tried to see the proteins, whereby we have seen the structure. We have seen the properties of the proteins. So today we are going to proceed looking on the proteins, but our main focus we're going to focus looking on the formation of the protein. So how protein is it formed? So now we can say that all proteins, they are formed by condensation of amino acid to give peptide chains. Kwa protini zote zinatengenezwa by condensation reactions. So remember, while we are discussing on the carbohydrate, tulisema kwamba condensation reaction is the reaction which involve the loss of water. So simply here also we can say that all proteins, they are formed by condensation of amino acid to give peptide chain. So the result of this condensation reaction is formation of the peptide chain. So ndiyo ambayo sasa hiyo peptide chain ndiyo ambayo sasa itaenda kutengeneza structure ya protein. But also we can say that the condensation reaction occurs between the amino acid of the condensation reaction occurs between the amino group of one amino acid and the carboxylic group of other amino acid to form a peptide or dipeptide molecule linked by peptide bond. So now we can say that hii nayo ina involve condensation reaction. Na condensation reaction ambayo tumeiona hapa it involves, au condensation reaction inatokea kati ya nini na nini? Condensation reaction inatokea kati ya amino acid au amino group. Remember, the amino acid, it is made with, tunasema kwamba imetengenezwa na amino group, alkyl group together with the carboxylic group. Sasa condensation reaction inatengenezwa na amino group pamoja na carboxylic group. Ndipo ambapo sasa due to that combination it will tend to form a dipeptide molecule. So the dipeptide molecule, it is linked by the peptide bond. So now you can see, underline the word peptide bond. The bond which are formed after the condensation reaction of protein, it is known as peptide bond. And it is formed after the combination of other molecule of amino acid, which is the amino group, and the other molecule of amino acid, which is carboxylic group, tend to form now the dipeptide molecule. So now let's see this figure 1.33. So now you can see the formation of the peptide molecule linked by the peptide bond. You can see we have this amino acid na hii amino acid nyingine. Remember the same. Condensation reaction involve the loss of water. So now you can see kwenye hii part ya amino acid, kwenye hii structure ya carboxylic group, it tend to contribute its hydroxyl ion. But also in this amino acid, in the part of amino group, it tend to contribute its hydrogen atom or ion. Is whereby after combination of this, it involves the condensation reaction, meaning that there is a loss of water from it. And now after the loss of water, you can see there is a formation now of a peptide bond. But the dipeptide molecule, now you can see this, all of this, it is the dipeptide molecule. So this from here, from carbon to nitrogen, this one, it is the peptide bond, this one, which is found between it. Now you can see this part, which is the blue in color. So that one, it is the peptide bond, which is found in the which is found within the dipeptide molecule, that is formed after the condensation reaction. I hope now it is clear. But don't forget the bond which is formed after the condensation reaction of the two amino group or amino acid. It tends to form the peptide bond. So now you can see this is the formation of dipeptide molecule linked by the peptide bond. So further combination of this type extends the length of a chain to form a polypeptide chain, which usually contains hundreds of amino acid. Kwa hiyo sasa ile dipeptide bond ile dipeptide molecule ambayo tumeiona hapo ikiungana na another amino acid and the other amino acid, ndipo ambapo sasa tutaenda kutengeneza polypeptide chain. Poly meaning that many. There we have already seen di, meaning that two molecules of amino acid, they tend to combine together to form a dipeptide molecule. So now, which is usually contain hundreds of the amino acid. Kwa proteini moja imetengenezwa na hundreds of the amino acid. So also we can say that polypeptide may be linked polypeptide may be linked by other forces such as disulfide bridge, hydrogen bond, hydrophobic interaction, and ionic bond. So tuliona ile dipeptide baada ya amino acid moja kuunganika na amino acid nyingine ikatengeneza peptide bond. Sasa tukija kuongelea about polypeptide, meaning that there is a lot of these amino acid which they tend to form chain now after the connection now between one amino acid and another amino acid, about hundreds of amino acid, ndipo ambapo natengeneza polypeptide chain. Sasa ile polypeptide chain imeshikiliwa na different kinds of forces which hold that polypeptide chain, and that polypeptide forces, all those forces which tend to hold this polypeptide molecule, including the disulfide bridge. We're going to see what is that disulfide bridge. Also we have the hydrogen bond, we have the hydrophobic interaction, and also we have the ionic bond. So now we're going to discuss about these forces one after another, but we are going to start looking on the first bond, which is created after the interaction or after the combination of two amino acids. That is our initial point. And now let's see the structure of the polypeptide. So now you can see that the structure of the polypeptide molecule is determined by the amino acid sequence and its configuration. For each particular type of protein, the chain of amino acid makes up a polypeptide molecule of a specific shape. Kwa hiyo sasa unaweza ukaona ile polypeptide chain of ile polypeptide chain tumesema kwamba ile structure of molecule, it is determined by amino acid sequence. Jinsi zile amino acid zilivyojipanga kwenye ile structure, ndipo ambapo sasa ina determine which kind of amino or polypeptide chain is that. And now here you can see for each particular type of protein of the chain of amino acid make up polypeptide molecule of a specific shape. Kwa hiyo ina maana kila polypeptide au kwenye kila protein inakuwa na polypeptide yake au polypeptide chain yake ambayo inakuwa na different kind of shape. For instance, the protein which is found within the hair, you know that the hair, it is made up of protein. It has its own shape depending on the arrangement of the polypeptide chain. It is quite different from that protein which is found in the keratin, which is the keratin also, it is a protein. So that keratin, it has been made also with its own shape of the polypeptide. That's all. So my students, for more clarification on the structure of the polypeptide chain, I would like to invite you into the next part of this session, whereby I am going to clarify in detail about the structure of the polypeptide and the formation of the protein. So thank you for your time and for listening.